Hello, everyone, and thanks for watching the preview show delivered by FedEx. I'm your host, Jonathan Merryman, joined by Chris Rice of Colleague Racing, our resident crew chief here.
Where's Marty?
Marty couldn't be here today, so you're stuck with me. I guess that's the next best thing, or so I like to think anyways. But let's talk about Kansas. Martin Truex Jr. finally gets a win at that racetrack. How big is it for that team? They consider that track their home race.
Well, they showed that they're ready to go win races. You know, it's been a little struggle for the Toyotas at late. And Martin goes out and dominates, I feel, at Kansas and shows that they're ready to go win races. And, man, they're hitting their stretch.
And moving from Martin Truex Jr.'s win to Eric Almirola, obviously involved in that accident with Joey Logano and Danica Patrick. What goes on inside of those race cars when drivers take a hard hit like that?
Well, you know, even though Eric has a compression fracture, we have done a wonderful job at making those race cars safe. NASCAR and all the teams working together. But when you take a hit like that, what it does is kind of just compresses him into the seat and basically just pushes him down in his seat and compresses a fracture like that. A hit like that 20 years ago might have been way different than it is now. So I commend NASCAR for what they have done with these race cars to keep these drivers safe.
And we know Eric will work hard and make his way back to that race car. He's a pretty good, you got to be tough to be a race car driver.
He's an athlete, that's what helps.
He's one tough guy. But moving on now, $1 Million race weekend with the Monster Energy NASCAR All-Star Race. First up, we're going to have the Open, where we have a chance for drivers to race their way in, and you can go on NASCAR.com and participate in the fan vote, so you can vote your favorite driver in. So
I did.
Who do you think is going to race their way in, and who do you think is going to be voted in by the fans?
Well, I feel a couple of drivers race their way in. I really like Ryan Blaney. Let's talk about his Kansas race. Had an awesome race. He was a little disappointed at the end. Ryan Blaney has done a phenomenal job at late, and I like Chase Elliott. That's a racetrack that fits his driving style. So Chase Elliott, Ryan Blaney can race their way in. As far as the fan vote goes, Danica Patrick will get in on the fan vote. One of the most popular drivers since Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Now, the biggest question here is, can Joey Logano double down and go from $1 million last year and add another $1 million to that this year?
Well, they're really fast right now, so I think it's going to take someone that's super fast to outrun him. And, you know, I feel, and I'll tell you at the end of this show, that somebody will knock him off his throne, because it's a lot of momentum coming into this race, and it's all out. Got all kinds of different tires they can work with, so, you know, somebody's going to knock him off, I believe.
Now, we talk about that momentum, and you're talking about Martin Truex Jr. there a little bit. I can see where you're going, because he's been so fast at the mile-and-a-half tracks. If Blaney gets through, he's been fast at the mile-and-a-half tracks. And then we throw in the green tire that NASCAR is going to put into play here, a little bit different element to the All-Star race that Monster Energy is a part of.
Well, absolutely. With the green tire, it's a softer tire, so it runs faster, quicker. So, but I'm telling you, with Martin Truex Jr., they already feel like they have a win. They're not worried about the playoffs. They're just going racing. I still feel that, you know, Cole Pern and those guys, they're going to take more chances in this race.
Now we're going to make our picks. Chris, who do you have winning the $1 million?
Well, I like Martin Truex Jr. He's coming off a lot of momentum. He has a lot of short run speed, so he's going to be very hard to beat this weekend.
I think Logano goes back-to-back, and you can catch all of that on TV this weekend to see if we might be right. That is going to be at 6 p.m. Eastern Time on FS1. It's the Monster Energy All-Star Race, and make sure you stay logged on all weekend long to NASCAR.com to find out who wins the big money race.